Stellar XLM as a chain is dead. Investors are exiting. Dixon is to blame. What, you don't believe me? Well, let me share with you some stats, some news from Stellar themselves, along with
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
And remember, my job is to bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. And today's news is not good for Stellar fans. No, this isn't me hating. This is me sharing with you the stats without all the hopium and the copium. And before we get into the news, you know the deal. Your comments come first because you, the viewer, matter most. Braden Lee says, at this point, I'm almost 100% positive that a BTC strategic reserve will never happen. I mean, look, they want to do it. They're going to be budget neutral to make it happen, which means what? No more debt. JJ Johnson Live says, over? Over? Nothing is over until we say it's over. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Name the movie, everyone. We're going deep cuts today. Paul's hanging out with us. Says, can someone start a rumor that Denelle Dixon is useless, please? It's not a rumor. It's the truth. Don't believe me? Stick around. You're going to learn a whole bunch. Bitcoin's sitting at 107,888. ETH is 2440. XRP 218, while XLM is at 23.7. All right, let's talk about what's going on. Denelle Dixon says, hey, the work doesn't stop at issuance. Denelle Dixon wraps up her Stablecoin Summit fireside chat on stablecoins with a reminder that success means liquidity, usability, and choosing the right blockchain. I get that, Dixon, but here's the problem. If building is so important, liquidity and usability is so important, why are transactions on-chain going down? If you're building more over time, how come less and less people are using your chain? Wouldn't it be the opposite? The more you build, the more transactions that are happening. Transactions are in orange up on the screen. Let's keep learning. What about payments? Oh, yes, that's right. Payments are in blue. Payments are going down. That's another problem. Payments peaked in 2023 and have since gone down. So again, we're talking about billions of dollars that have poured into Stellar Development Foundation, Stellar Chain, and the results are going down. So if you're spending billions of dollars on something, wouldn't you expect the results to get better and better and better over time? But again, payments are going down. Here's a good example for you. In May to June, payments, 172 million of them. Majority of payments were sprinkles, like a fraction of a penny. All the way back here in 2023, we had 681 million of them. So essentially, payments are down 75% over the last 2 years. Is that adoption and usability? No, it's not. It's called shrinkage. That's a big, big problem. Now, what about the fee pool? People are like, but bro, a lot of people are using XLM. We're burning it. Here's this orange line on the bottom of the screen. That's the fee pool for XLM. As you notice, we're not burning a lot. Why are we not burning a lot? Because transactions are going down on chain. That's these orange bars are here. Again, transactions peaked in 2022, 2023, and have since gone down. So no, you're not going to get rich based on the fee pool with XLM, because right now there's 6.5 million XLM that have been burned. The problem is you're going to have 50 billion XLM, yes, everyone, 50 billion XLM in circulation. You're only at 6.5 million. Let's keep learning. Here's the other problem. Native token for XLM. The volume sucks, 78 million. It has been pumperoni, dumperoni, pumperoni, dumperoni, pumperoni, and now we're not even getting the stability after the November election. You're seeing what, everyone? You're seeing XLM slowly wind on back down. That's right. Retail and institutional investors are leaving XLM. And if you zoom out even further, look at this. What caused the biggest price movements for XLM? In 2017 and 2018, it was the ICO boom. So no, that's not directly related to XLM. It was an overall market boom that caused the biggest oomph for XLM. And then right here into 2020, 2021, into 2022, what was this big boom right here? The lockdown and zero for rates. That's right. Rates were super low. Liquidity was flowing. The entire crypto market moved. So again, not direct news of XLM. in July of 2023, XLM had a pretty big spike in price here, all the way from 10 cents to 15 plus cents. What was that? The Torres ruling with XRP. So again, XLM did not move on its own news. It moved on what? News from something else. What about this spike right here from 9 cents all the way up to here to 40 plus cents? The election, a changing political effect in pro-crypto view. So again, not anything directly related to XLM. And here's the problem. XLM is losing its gains. As you can see, the peaks are coming on down. Compare XLM to BTC, and it's getting worse over time. This is the XLM to BTC chart. Let's keep learning. People talk about liquidity on chain. Well, you've only got $20 million right now of total liquidity on chain. That's embarrassing. When they launched the liquidity about 3-4 years ago, whatever it was, when they announced it in Meridian, you had 13 million. You've only gone up 7 million in the last 3 years. That's pathetic. 20 million liquidity for something that has cost you billions and billions of dollars on is pathetic. In fact, when you look at the liquidity pools and you sort them by the largest amount of the total value locked, you see these orange hexagons right here. These are reported as assets that are unsafe, otherwise known as scams. The total value locked, so the biggest pools out there, look at them all. Scam, 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 scam. Let's go to the next page. What do we got here? Oh, more scam, 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 scam. That's right, everyone. So even the biggest liquidity pools for XLM Stellar are scams. And here's another problem that we have. A lot of players out there post stuff like this. Here's Stellar Expert on Twitter. Says, USDC on XRP is a trap. The real liquidity is already on XLM. Actually, that's a lie. That's a lie. Let me show you the real stats. Because here's the problem. You got a bunch of people posting bullshit out there, trying to mislead you to make you think that XLM is juicy. Now remember, my job is to bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad, and this is sad. Here's the problem. 22,400 people watched this, and here's what they said. The real liquidity is on XLM. Well, let's go to the XLM liquidity. The number one liquidity on XLM chain right now is the Benji token, which is not available to retail. And there is 438 million on there. USDC is the second biggest with $157 million. Yes, $157 million. Let's do this. Let's put USDC in and let's see how much total market cap is there. Because if the majority of liquidity is on Stellar, let's see how much market cap is there. 61.7 billion. And only 157 billion of that is on Stellar. So let's go to our calculator. So I said, I'm sorry, what was that? 67 billion, right? Let's put this into the calculator. 67 billion total liquidity is on there. And what was that? 157 million of that is on Stellar. Oh, okay, hold on. I got to do this the right way. I have my numerator and denominator mixed up. So 157 million divided by the 68 billion. So what percentage of USDC liquidity is on Stellar? Not even 1%. 0.2% of USDC liquidity is on Stellar. So who has been at the reins this whole time while Stellar is using billions of retail money, institutional money? It's Denelle Dixon. Now, granted, Stellar is going to be going to Meridian on the dime of retail. That's right. They're going to be cashing in more XLM. When you look at XLM in circulation, let's even do that right now. There is 31 million XLM in circulation. Like, bro, what are you talking about right here? What I'm talking about is this. Circulating supply for XLM just keeps on growing and growing and growing. Why? because Stellar is dumping more and more XLM onto the open market. And what results are you getting? You are getting these results. Zooming out, pumperoni, dumperoni, pumperoni, dumperoni, pumperoni, dumperoni. There is like no liquidity on chain. As seen here, you only have $20 million of liquidity. You go to the liquidity pools and you sort them by the biggest ones here. And guess what? You learn that what? The biggest liquidity pools on Stellar are all what? Listed as scam assets. What? That's crazy, girlfriend. You then find out that what? People out there on Twitter are saying what? The biggest amount of liquidity right now for USDC is on XLM. No, that's a lie. The biggest amount of USDC is found on what? Chains like ETH. Yeah. Exactly my point. Stellar XLM is dead. That's why its chart looks like this. That's why the XLM BTC chart looks like this. That is why liquidity looks like this. Flat is shit. That's why transactions are going down. No matter how much you build, no matter how much money is thrown at it, dead as a doornail, and you only got one person to blame. Dixon. And I get it. You can probably make a million excuses out there. Oh, but bro, it's this. Oh, but bro, it's that. The head of a company is who is responsible for poor performance. And don't defend poor performance, because there are other cryptos out there that are doing good. But all you hear from Stellar is, oh, we're building this, we're building that, tokenization this, tokenization that. If everything you're doing is so juicy, how come transactions are going down? How come liquidity is not going up? How come more institutions are not buying you? How come you only have 140 million of USDC on chain when there's 60 plus billion out there in total supply for USDC? Players are not picking you. Even though you're fast, even though you're cheap, even though you're reliable, players are not picking you. Oh, but bro, we've got MoneyGram and we've got the rails. That's awesome. Players are still not picking you. If you look at the biggest pumps in the history of XLM, none of them have come from anything news-wise directly related to XLM. Hey, buddy, how's it going? The MoneyGram thing did nothing for the price. Some of the biggest pumps for XLM have come from November election results, Torres action, the ICO boom, everyone being locked down with rates being at zero, and yep, everyone going to degen world with crypto speculation. None of that has to do with XLM. Yet Stellar and Dixon out there are telling you, we're building, we're doing this, we're doing this. Well, your results suck. Spending billions of dollars. Think about that. There's 31 billion XLM right now in circulation, with a total of 50 billion going to be in circulating supply. All that money being spent, and that's the result. All you got to do is zoom out and look at the results. Look at the price, look at the transactions on chain, look at the liquidity pools and how much they suck, look at the TVL on chain, look at the fact that no stables are really launching on Stellar. That's a big one. That tells you that institutions don't want any part of it. Now, is this a fun story for me to do? No, of course not. A lot of people are going to be pissed with this. Why? Because it's going to be opening their eyes to what? To stats that don't have emotions. But these stats are coming from where? Reliable resources. So it's not me making the news, it's me reporting the news. Because just like Stellar Experts said on Twitter, which was a lie, oh, the majority of liquidity is found on the Stellar chain. That was false. I just debunked it and I shared it with you. No. The majority of USDC is not on Stellar XLM. Sorry. Choo-choo what? Choo-choo biznachos. Denelle Dixon is useless and she should be fired. Put someone in there who's going to actually bring results that yield some juice.